Today on Ask This Old House.
Nice to meet you, Richard. Welcome to Seattle.
Nice to be here. You know, I will take any excuse to come to Seattle. This shower gets cold when anybody uses the kitchen faucet. I'm heading to Seattle to figure out what's wrong and just how to fix it.
This is a little bench that you would put by the back door with some cubbies underneath it, a place to sit down and take your shoes off in the winter, and a place to store them underneath. For this build it, I'm going to build this entire piece of furniture using only one sheet of MDF.
And then I'm going to show you the right technique to paint it. MDF, very absorbent material. We're going to use an oil-based primer to seal it.
For projects around the house, Home Advisor helps find local pros to do the work. You can check ratings, read customer reviews, and book appointments with pros online at homeadvisor.com. Home Advisor is proud to support Ask This Old House.
Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor and welcome back to Ask This Old House. We'd love to hear from you because we have got the experts to answer all of your questions, so keep them coming. Hey, good morning, Richard.
Hey, how are you?
Wow, you been working out this morning?
Tommy asked me to take the heavy end of a piece of MDF.
Sounds like Mr. Silver.
Right.
Work smarter, not
so,
harder.
so it's in there for you.
All right.
And I got an email about a shower valve in Seattle, so I'm going to take the trip.
You're going to go all the way to Seattle for a shower valve.
Shower valve's on the wall. She can't bring it to me.
That's a good point, and I guess that's what we do. All right, well, if the MDF is here, that means it's time for a Build It. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
All right, so Build It today, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking a real simple project. This is a little bench that you would put by the back door with some cubbies underneath it, a place to sit down and take your shoes off in the winter, and a place to store them underneath.
All right, sounds like a nice project.
All right.
And this is what you're thinking of using?
Yep, this is actually medium density fiberboard. The only real problem with it is that it's very heavy. This is actually made of wood flour. It's real fine sawdust, and they compress it with resins and they make a sheet out of it.
Yeah.
The nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about end grain, so you don't have to cover it with a strip of wood. You don't have to do face frames or veneer the edge, whatever you want.
You could just sand that smooth.
Right, and it's great for a paint grade project, and it's cheap, about $30 for the sheet. Nice. And I want to build the whole project with one sheet.
Just one, huh?
Just one.
Well, you are cheap.
You better believe it. I get it from you. To get started, I want to cut the MDF to a usable size. We found a cushion that we like for the top, so we're going to size the piece based on that. All right, here's the piece that we cut, and this one sheet represents the top and the bottom of our box. And we're going to use these baskets inside the box to put things in.
Okay.
I want to put two dividers in here and two sides out here. I want those sides to sit in a dado because it's going to be stronger if it's in a dado. And I want to make sure that those dados are lined up. Now, I could cut the pieces to size and then dado them, but it would take a lot longer. And I don't want to run the risk of the dados being off slightly.
Because the dado that's here and the dado that's here has to be directly on top of each other.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out and cut our dados first and then rip our pieces to size.
Clever.
Now we're going to do 3/4.
Good.
With the dados cut, we can now separate the top and the bottom. The bottom needs to be a little narrower than the top, and now we're going to cut that down. All right, now this piece is the bottom, and the top piece has an overhang on the two sides and on the front. On the bottom, I don't want the overhang on the end. So we're going to cut this off right here, turning this dado into a rabbet. To make sure the holes for our fasteners are centered in our dados and centered into the sides, we'll pre-drill the holes through the dados. Now we can cut the pieces for the back, the dividers, and the ends, and we'll do that on the table saw. Before we assemble, I want to give everything a good sanding. All right, now we're ready to glue and screw the pieces together, but I want to do one joint at a time because the MDF will suck up that glue. Gotta go. Oh. No, gotta go more. There. That's that one. Just, oh, that's it. Oh, nice. Good. Okay, the last piece we have to build is the toe kick for the cabinet to set on. We've mited the front and we mited each side. Put them together like this. So this piece will be a filler. It's going to go on here like this. We'll glue and pin nail it. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on there. We don't need a lot. Perfect. All right. Okay, now we'll glue the miter and the filler block. Okay. Ready? Okay, we'll do that. And a piece in the center just for some extra support. You good?
Good.
Just hold it tight.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll put a filler across the front here to add some more glue surface. Put a couple of tacks in those. Good. All right. Let's see if it fits. Yeah. Heavy little cabinet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it, Tommy.
Nice. All right, we'll put a couple of tacks in it. All right, I think that's it. The glue will set up and hold that on with no problem. Mauro will come in, fill the holes, and paint it.
It's going to look great with that cushion on top, too.
Sure is.
Looks good, Tommy.
You must be Manuela.
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Richard. Welcome to Seattle.
Nice to be here. You know, I love Seattle. It's one of my favorite cities.
Wow, great, because Ask This Old House is one of my favorite shows.
So we're both happy.
Yes. I have a shower problem that I wrote you about.
Okay.
So follow me, I'll show you where it
I'll
is.
follow you anywhere. Here we
Yeah.
go.
So here's the bathroom.
Okay.
The issue that I have is that when someone opens the hot water in the kitchen, or the dishwasher is turned on and someone is taking a shower here, I lose completely the hot water for a little bit of time, and then it
Okay.
takes a while to come back.
We've heard this complaint before. Let me jump in here and turn the water on. You can go to the kitchen and just open up the hot water faucet. Let's see what
Sure.
you got. All right. Right there. All right, Manuela, open up the hot water faucet full, please.
Okay.
Oh yeah, getting colder. Okay, close it. All right. Good. It definitely got cold. Let me run and grab a few tools. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, so first we're going to remove the handle right here. There's a little cover plate that will expose a screw. Hold the handle, turn counterclockwise. Okay, now there's a cover plate right here with 2 additional screws, and once we loosen those, the plate should come off. So there's the second one. Now, you've got a fair amount of caulking right here, so before I pry it, I'm just going to score it with a knife.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so here is our single lever shower valve. There's a hot and there's a cold pipe that come in here. This goes down to the spout, this goes up to the shower head. Now sometimes there are shutoff valves right inside. They're called service valves that we can shut it off, so we shut off just the fixture. You don't have them, so it means I'm gonna go to the basement and turn the hot and cold off.
Okay.
All right, so the water is off, and now we're gonna take you through what's going on here. So this thing is a single lever valve that really only has one serviceable part, the cartridge, which sits right inside the valve body here. And you know, even though the tile looks like it was done in the 80s, I think this valve was original to the house. How old was this house?
1964.
64. I mean, that's 50 or 60 years that this cartridge has been sitting inside of this valve body. So that's the challenge for me, how to get this thing out. So it starts with a little clip right here. I'm going to pry that clip up. That came easy. Good. Don't lose it in the wall. That wouldn't be good. The challenge is to get this cartridge out. And the cartridge has been jammed into this valve body for all these years. So I'm afraid that if I just try to pull it this way with pliers, I could break it and leave parts inside the wall, and that would be a mess. You'd have to do the whole shower valve. So they make a special tool that has a pair of shoulders on the tool that correspond to the matching shoulders on the cartridge itself. So I fit it right in here, and then I want to twist. And what I'm trying to do is to break that O-ring seal that's been crusting up for the last 50, 60 years. All right, so that's released. So now I take a pair of pliers and hopefully pull it straight out this way. So, come on. Come on. Oh, yeah. There it is. Good.
All right.
That has not seen the light of day in about half a century. All right, now if this house had been built about 10 years earlier, it probably wouldn't even have had a single lever valve. It would have had a 3-valve. Hot handle here, cold handle here, a handle in the middle to determine if the water went down to the spout or up to the shower head. But the modern single lever valve was such a convenience. It was such a cool thing to add because it had a single handle, you could pull it on and off, you could turn it. So the way this cartridge works, it sits inside the valve body in this constant hot supply at this port right here, cold to the port on the other side. Now, when you pull the handle back, watch what happens. You see how there's a hole that lets some of the hot come into this chamber and come out through these holes out to the shower head. But when you turn the handle, it makes less hot, makes more hot, and you can constantly precisely mix inside this chamber. But this convenience piece didn't change the fact that it didn't take into account changes in pressure. So that means if you had a drop in cold water pressure when the toilet got flushed, hot would come in and scald people. Or in your case, what did you have? You had a drop in hot water pressure and now the cold came in. And this didn't change it. So nowadays, this type of valve body, this basic valve in here, is no longer even legal. By code, we have to have a valve body that has a device inside of it called a pressure balancing device. And that pressure balancing device will constantly adjust for changes in pressure to make consistent temperature come out of the shower head. This manufacturer realized that all this inventory of valves inside the wall. So what they did is they went back to the drawing board and redesigned the inside of this cartridge and changed the size and geometry of the openings on both the hot and the cold side to try and get the size of the ports proportional to each other as you change them to try and reduce the amount of pressure balance issues. It's not going to fully fix it, but this cartridge can improve dramatically this performance. So what we're going to do is to put a little bit of grease on it, not too much on the O-rings. A little retainer clip. There we go. I'm going to set a foam bead into some wet caulking for a watertight seal. Then we can reinstall the trim. And now the handle. All right. Water is back on. Why don't you go into the bathroom and run the shower, and I will turn on the hot water from here. We'll give it a test.
Okay. It's hot now.
All right, I'm going to open up here.
Still hot.
That's a good thing. Again?
Yep, still hot.
All right, you're all set then.
Okay. Great.
That new cartridge can make quite the difference.
Yeah, thank you so much for your help.
You know, I will take any excuse to come to Seattle.
Anytime.
All right.
It's nice that they make a part that keeps a 40-year-old valve in service.
Right, otherwise she might have needed a full bathroom model, so
Right.
it's great. So, but they made a lot of improvements on the modern shower valve over at Manuela's. So here it looks very similar. You got hot, you got cold right here. You've got the control spindle right here. This is where your handle
So
is, right?
tub showers in this
That's right.
direction, yep.
But you'll see, let me tip it over here.
Oh, cutaway, huh?
So first, on a modern shower valve, it's great to see this. These are shutoff valves so that you can do for service on the valve, and it's really important. And they also have a thing called a check inside here, and that actually helps if you ever had a chance of hot going this way or cold going the other way, it'll stop it.
The water can come by it and push it up, but when it tries to go back, that
Right.
little black nub stops it?
Right.
Cool.
So here's the spindle, but the addition is this. It's called a balancing spool right here. So let me pull this out. Okay. And when I do, listen.
Oh, something in there,
Okay.
sliding around.
Right. Inside of it.
Wait a second, a cutaway of a cutaway?
So here's your cold water port right here. Here's your hot water port. So now if the pressure in the system, in the house itself, is in balance on either side of this valve, it looks just like this.
Cold is coming into the top,
Right here.
hot is coming into
Right.
the bottom.
And those holes are wide open. So now let's say you flush a toilet. That means the cold water pressure would drop. That means, in this case, the hot water pressure would be stronger and would push this thing this way. And what would it do? It would close off the hot and increase the cold to keep them in balance.
Yeah, and then sort of the vice versa
Absolutely.
would work.
You drop in hot water pressure, cold water wins, and it keeps it in balance perfectly. And so this just goes back and forth all the time, constantly adjusting the pressure in the system.
Wow, and so you would, in that case, you'd feel the pressure drop because less
Right.
water be coming through,
Right.
but you wouldn't feel a temperature change.
This thing only controls the pressure. The temperature is controlled by that same spindle, because here's the hot going this way, and here's the cold going this way, and it's only in this spindle that you control temperature. This is pressure, This is temperature. Now, here's your hot and cold side, and it would constantly give you just a perfect, precise
Wow,
temperature.
that's amazing. Simple little device, but what a huge improvement.
So brilliant. It changes everything.
So Mauro, was our sanding up to your approval?
I like it, and I think it's ready for priming.
All right, how do you want to attack it?
Well, MDF, very absorbent material. We're going to use an oil-based primer to seal it.
Well, it's going to be a hard-working bench and probably a mudroom, so I can imagine wet boots or rain jackets on it. We don't want it to swell up, so you think the oil-based primer is going to help?
Oil-based will protect this, and then for the top coat, we can use a water-based paint.
All right, ready to go?
I'm ready.
I'll roll, you paint.
We're going to start with the inside of this box. We're going to prime all the edges, and then Kevin will roll the fields.
Getting good coverage with the roller. Speeding it up a little bit there.
That looks pretty good, Kevin. You could be a good painter.
Boy, it's like priming cardboard, Mauro, the way it is sucking up the primer here.
Exactly, sucking up the primer, and it's a very nice and smooth material people like because of the smoothness of it, and always look good. But remember, it's a very soft material.
All right, let me attack the top here.
Oh, now 2 coats of primers are dry. We're ready to fill the nail holes.
So why fill them now after the primer's on as opposed to before the primer?
The putty sticks better on the primer.
Just using a regular wood putty?
Just like a wood filler, Kevin, the regular one. All right, I'm gonna hit inside the box with the 220 grit sandpaper. In the meantime, Kevin, if you wanna do the tops and the sides with the sander, we can get it done. Now, let's wipe off the dust with tack cloth. We're gonna use this water-based, just simply white. I'm gonna start inside the cubs again. I'll go with the brush, and if you wanna start to the back.
Got it.
Look at this, all painted up, 3 nice baskets and a great cushion. Looks good.
Do you approve?
I do, very nice.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I mean, 1 sheet of MDF, that's pretty economical, and that's a good look right here.
Yeah.
Very nice piece.
All right,
Nice
nice
job,
job, guys. All right, keep your letters and your emails coming. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor
I'm Mauro Henrique.
And I'm Tom Silva.
for Ask This Old House.
I like the color gray, it looks good.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.